Hello, and welcome to the historic Waldron walking trail. You will walk 0.7 miles and visit the following historical sites: Scott Theater, Forester House, Courthouse, Old Jail, Memorial Hall, and the Waldron News. Please pause or listen to the music, which will play until you get to the next stop. Let's get started. Waldron Commercial Historic District encompasses the historic central business district of Waldron, Arkansas. This area, a 5-block stretch of Main Street, which was extended to Washington Street to include the old Scott County Courthouse, was primarily developed between 1880 and 1920. It was an active commercial area for the town's incorporation in 1852. An unknown number of its early buildings were destroyed during the American Civil War. Most of the buildings are 1- and 2-story brick structures, with a variety of commercial, architectural, and vernacular styles present.
Originally built as the Pines Theater for the tiny Camp Hughes theater circuit, the first 10 years of the theater found it as a rustic, atmospheric architectural style. After its 10-year lease expired, Forrester moved on and K. Lee Williams Circuit took over the theater under Gary Doig's management, renamed the Scott Theater, and received a major interior redesign in 1940, losing most of the original rustic elements. Even more original elements were going again in the 1950s. Redesign brought widescreen presentations. On January 21st, 1960, a major fire gutted the interior, though leaving the exterior virtually unchanged.
Forester House is an historic house at the 140 Danville Road in Waldron, Arkansas. It is a 2-story wood frame I-house with an attached single-story wing extending from the rear of the center, giving it a common T-shaped plan. The original front facade has 2-story gable roofed porch extending across part of it, while the south-facing side of the wing, now serving as the main entrance, has a vernacular craftsman-style porch with a shed roof extending along its length. The house was built in 1896, with the wing adding by 1904. It was built by Charlie Forrester, an Arkansas native who operated a number of retail and commercial businesses in Waldron. The house was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1998. Featherston donated his large log barn to be the first courthouse in Scott County, which also was used as a church and school building. The old Scott County Courthouse was constructed in 1933. The building was designed by Bassam and Wheeler of Fort Smith. The funding for this building was from the Works Progress Administration. It replaced the older building on the same site that was destroyed by a fire. The old courthouse is a 2-story brick Art Deco building set on a high foundation and has a flat roof. It is located on First Street. This building was registered into the National Register of Historic Places in 1989 because of its architecture.
The old Waldron jailhouse was built in 1908. The property is less than 1 acre of land. The old jailhouse is located at 125 West 2nd Street in Waldron, Arkansas. It is a 2-story structure built of fieldstone covered with concrete with a flat roof with a stone foundation. There is only one entrance into the jailhouse. The windows have decorative shutters rather than iron bars. The library occupied the building in 1938 and 1947, and it was used for the time by the local Boy Scout and Girl Scout organizations.
The Union Hotel was close to the railroad, which made it a frequent stop for travelers. The Union Hotel was run by Julia Thompson and her husband, Ben Thompson. Julia was a wonderful cook, and her husband was the marshal, and also owned a leather shop. Miss Thompson was a very welcoming, kind lady who frequently allowed the elderly to live at the hotel. There was no kitchen in the hotel because there was no fire allowed in the building, so meals were cooked and brought in to the guests from a cafe next door, where the gazebo sits now. The hotel burned around the 1920s.
The first newspaper to be published in the county was the Reformer from 1872 to 1874. The longest-running paper in Scott County was the Advance Reporter. It was started in Waldron in 1878 by S. H. Farley. The papers were divided based on Democrat and Republican. The paper was taken over by the Cox family and ran until 1969. The building was located across from where Memorial Hall stands today.